All right, guys, this is the Angryprepper. So today's episode, we're going to talk about lockdown 2.0, or rather the next lockdown coming to America. Sorry. Listen, guys, a part of me sort of understands the lockdown. I get it. You know, wanting to keep people away from each other so that they don't get infected, so that you don't spread it. I understand that. But this is not the virus to do that with. This is definitely not the virus to do that with. This is not like the virus in Contagion. I would probably say, all right, that makes more sense. 30% or mortality rate. A lot of people are dying, getting really sick. That makes a lot of sense. COVID's mortality rate is very, very low, extremely low. And the survivability is way up. It's like 97% or 98%, whatever it is, right? So that's high, guys. So we are locking down for a virus that is real. I have to say it's a real virus, but it's not as deadly as they're making it out to be. That being said, the next lockdown coming makes zero sense. Now, here in New York, COVID cases are up, or they said it's dwindling, but it went back up for a short time. And the 15 people died from, I think, the time that they said it spiked, which was back in early October, to probably 2 weeks ago. 15 people died from it. Hospitalizations were up, but it wasn't nearly as close as it was back in March, April, and May, where people were dying left and right. Every day you had a few hundred people dying. We only had 15 people die so far. So this next round of COVID lockdown doesn't make sense, considering the mortality rate dropped dramatically, especially here in New York. So Biden, in all of his infinite wisdom, decides that when he goes into office, he's going to lock down the country. Now, this is a suggestion from his transition team, which his transition team looks like a nightmare. These people are the worst. You guys have to do the research yourself. You can pull up Biden's transition team and you'll see what these people stand for. Nothing short of socialism and in-home prison, if you get that. The transition team looks like shit. So now, Biden's transition team, one of the doctors floated out a 4 to 6 week lockdown when Biden gets inaugurated into office, if he gets inaugurated into office. Another doctor on the same transition team floated out 18 months. Now, I'm pretty sure he pulled back that 18 months, considering even a moron, right? The idiot that walks around town, you know, yelling oddball shit like, you know, I love spam. That guy even knows that 18-month lockdown on this country would undoubtedly screw us and put us into something worse than the Great Depression. It would destroy us. The economy took a beating because of the first shutdowns. What do you think is going to happen now? Now, you do have a lot of states shutting down as of the last 2 weeks. A lot of states have shut down or put on heavier restrictions. But a complete and total lockdown where you just have essential workers, right? Essential workers. And right, I'm considered an essential worker, but not really. At least I don't consider myself one, but the government and their bullshit thinking they do. So a total lockdown, guys, I don't know what that would look like. I mean, I really don't. Outside of the economy crashing and people getting really hungry because now they don't have jobs, they don't have any way to buy food. You can't keep giving away food for free. At some point or another, someone's going to collect that debt, right? So how's that going to look? Now, I know that one of the doctors walked back the 18-month idea, so that's good, but still 4 to 6 weeks, that's a bit much. Now, a viewer of mine, his name was Eric, he said that the doctor walked it back, but I'm not sure if he walked back this 18-month or the 4 weeks or both. 4 to 6 weeks lockdown, 18-month lockdown, or both. I am not sure which one he walked back, but nonetheless, guys, to throw that idea out there, this is how things start when you start throwing ideas out. Ideas are usually the beginning of something. And sometimes you'll throw an idea out there and you'll be like, man, you say it out loud, you're like, that sounded really stupid. But in these people's brains, it sounded smart. Then they walk it back and go, maybe not, but they go, but there's a way. So they're going to use that 4 to 6 week lockdown to lock something down, or a variation of it. Maybe it's 2 weeks instead of 4. Maybe it's 2 weeks, and then they pile on 2 weeks at a time or a week at a time to see where it goes. Listen, guys, COVID has to do its thing. COVID is not the end of humanity. It's not even close. So it has to do its thing. It has to spread across the country. Let it spread. There's no fighting it. These vaccines that they're talking about, they're full of shit. A vaccine that has not been tested on animals, has not had a long-term study done, cannot be safe and cannot be deemed safe. That's the problem with the vaccine that I'm seeing. They keep saying, well, it's 90% effective, and then the next week comes out, oh, we got one better. Ours is 97% effective, or 95% effective, like they're having a dick measuring contest. It's insane. Anyway, so once those vaccines come down, the lockdown going to be done. Now, Biden's lockdown plan, and again, it's his transition team's lockdown plan, and these are ideas they floated out there. That is not concrete, guys. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just something for you to be aware of because they threw that idea out there. That's it. Now, countries like Italy, France, Germany, and the UK are back on lockdown. The whole country is. The people there are not having it. I mean, you're not seeing a lot of the protesting and the marches against these lockdowns because the United States doesn't want to give you that idea. So if you go on, let's say, BBC, RT News, you will find a lot of the lockdown protests. People protesting against lockdown in those countries. If you go on YouTube, you'll find some. If you go on Twitter, you'll find some as well. So you got to do your again, guys, do your own research. You'll see it. The reason why they don't show it here, because they don't want us to resist. But guess what? This is America, and we were known and created and built on resisting. So what do you think is going to happen when you start entering or telling people more restrictions on top of more restrictions on top of more restrictions? At some point, people are going to get bent out of shape and go, fuck yourself. That's it. That's what's going to happen eventually, especially here. Now, there are states that are pushing back, which is great, but I read it just a couple seconds ago. One governor had a mandatory shutdown, and the people said, go fuck yourselves, and they kept their restaurants and bars open. Good for them. But, again, the idea of these shutdowns are bad, and I don't understand a shutdown with a virus that's not going to end humanity. But if you're going to sell us bullshit, the bullshit's got to be good. It's got to smell good and it's got to look good. But instead, it's neither, and we all see right through it. That's a problem because, again, guys, it's just a bullshit. It's not that it's a bullshit virus. It's just a virus that's not going to end humanity. That's it. And people are going to get sick and they're going to get better. Again, I'm one of those people that hung around it the entire time, and I haven't gotten sick. And the other thing you got to be careful with, guys, is the language they're using. They say people who don't display any signs or symptoms can still spread it or may still spread it. Look what they say, can and may, not definitely, not absolutely, and not 100%. They don't know. Why don't they know? Why don't they do the research on that? Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of immune people out there who don't spread it and can't spread it. Because I thought the idea of you spreading it was you had to be sick, sneeze, cough, or something to spread the sputum to get into the air. If you're just talking and it's spreading like that, then that's a really, really sensitive virus or contagious virus, right? Very, very contagious if you're just talking like I am right now. So, again, I think it's bullshit when they talk about people who are immune or don't display any symptoms. There is no virus on this planet that is 100% effective. Not one. So why aren't we talking about the immune? Here's the other problem, guys, that I'm seeing with the numbers going up and the mandates and this, that, and third, especially the lockdown. They keep saying, well, the numbers are going up. You know why the numbers are going up? Because of this. This right here. This is a picture of a snapshot from my computer. Look at this ad here. This ad is saying, get tested even if you don't have any symptoms and get tested often. They want you to test often even if you don't have symptoms. So that every time you test, and if you test positive because you went, all right, I tested positive, so I wait 2 weeks, I'm still positive, you count as 2 separate cases, not one. 2 separate cases. So now you go in the system twice. So now, instead of it being 5, it's now 7 because you who got tested twice, counted twice, now you counted as 2 separate cases, which made 5 to 7. So just take that and build it nationwide. They're telling people to get tested all the time, regularly and often now, so that they could build those numbers up to scare the shit out of you to think that this virus is worse than what it really is, and it isn't. For some people, guys, for a lot of people, for a large percentage of the United States who get infected, it's a cold or a bad flu, if you will, a bad flu. And then for a small percentage, it's like a cold or sniffles. And for a tinier percentage, it's killing people with underlying conditions. So we have to look at it that way, guys. We can't look at it as it's the end all be all, because it's not. They gotta stop selling that bullshit to us. And the lockdown regulation thing is even worse. Now, the fact that Biden has this whole thing written out before he's even in office is, to me, a red flag. Yes, I get it that as a transition, being in the transition to the presidency, you have to have these plans in play before you get in there. I get that. But the lockdown protocols are insane. Now, is he absolutely going to lock us down for 18 months? No, that's not happening. But it piqued my interest. Now, one of the things I do want to discuss really quickly is these lockdowns and vaccines are going to come with something called COVID bracelet. Right? So the COVID bracelet allows you to go outside, go to work, go to a bar, go to a movie, sporting event, and so on and so forth. Probably even to go food shopping so that you can survive, right? So these COVID bracelets, it was an idea floated in the UK. The UK has a problem, and they suggested that, well, maybe we should give people these bracelets who test negative for COVID and who had the vaccine. So the bracelet would allow you to do these things, your everyday life, allow you to go to work even. They did a study, a behavioral study from Slovakia. Now, Slovakia is a small country. It's a tiny country. I think it has like 5 million people or something like that. That's a tiny country in comparison to everywhere else. And you're going to get those people to comply because you have a small percentage of people that live there. So with this bracelet system, they also want to be able to track you. Now, guys, some of you are watching this and go, that's conspiracy theory. It's not. If you go to a resort, a high-end resort, if you will, if you go to Great Wolf Lodge or Kalahari, these are indoor water parks, by the way. If you go to those two places, they already have it in play. You open the door with your bracelet, and you can pay for food with your bracelet, and you can do play certain games with your bracelet. It also tracks your whereabouts in the hotel. Some of them do, not all. So that technology already exists. So they're just going to take that technology and implement it into the bracelets, let's say here, and track your whereabouts and see where you're going. Oh, you came in contact with somebody that tested positive 3 days ago. Why? Because your bracelet told them that. Now you got to quarantine or take a test. Guys, these ideas that are being floated out there is not a coincidence. It's not an accident. It is something to consider. That's it. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching.